Welcome, guys. Thanks to each and every one of you guys for tuning in, man. Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Town Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, having a few technical difficulties. So if you good people can just bear with me for a second, confirm that you can hear me. I'm sure you can, but hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm having some crazy technical difficulties with my phone. Trying to share the link to a few people that I always share it to, man, and it's making me do it the long way. So if y'all can bear with me for 2 seconds, and I'll be right to you guys. For some reason, the Gmail app is not working. It keeps giving me an error, and then I try to post the YouTube link. It's giving me some other type of weird error, but I'm almost done, guys. I'm doing it the long way. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right there. But how's everybody doing so far tonight? I hope well. One more person I have to send it to, because if I don't, he'll have my head, and that is my father. He watches the show each and every week, man. Didn't know he cared so much, but he's pissed if I don't send him the link. All right, so here we are, guys. Welcome, man. Again, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. You're going to hear double audio for about 2 seconds here. I'm just testing. Yep, right there. I'm just testing the audio to make sure it's coming through. How's everybody doing, man? Let's say hello to the early commenters. We always want to do that. Let's see who we got in here. The infamous Tim 3304. He says, hey, yo, Cleveland, we put the B to A. Y'all know what that means. And it looks like the infamous Tim may have switched up his handle a little bit. My good buddy Mark is in the building as well. Wait a minute, guys. See, wait. Something's going on. Did you guys change your handles? What is going on tonight, man? It's weird. So some of you guys have your names are weird, right? Let me explain to y'all. The infamous Tim's name is the infamous Tim 3304. Mark Cunningham's name is Mark Cunningham -0F7KJ. Zuri Rivers is EV6GW. I don't know what's going on, yo. YouTube is bugging. So maybe something is going on in the Google YouTube universe. I don't know what's going on, but guys, all right, forgive me. I thought it was just me, but you guys saying y'all are seeing it. Look, Mr. Winningham has numbers in his name too. What in the world? All right, we're going to act like we don't see it. Shout outs to the CT Pittman in the building, Jay Webb in the building. Lanisha, the lovely Lanisha is in the building. Hello, Lanisha, and all of our other lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Hello, special hello, and make sure, guys, you lay out the red carpet, say hello to them, and treat them with care. Rajan 39, Zuri Rivers, Steeler Cards. Who else is up in here, man? Looks like Debbie. Debbie is in the building. Hello, Debbie. Always good to see you. And her name is now DPJ310, which I do believe that has been her name for a while now. Good to see Debbie in the building, man. We missed you a whole lot, so it's always good to see you. Dr. Trey88, Jack Bauer, Jermaine White, Vista Light. Who else is up in here, man? Dub Sko. Is it Sko or Ski? It's spelled DUBBSKW. Dub Ski, I don't know. First Dad, K007. And it will end it right about there, guys, because, again, some of these names are looking crazy. Mr. Winningham in the building as well. So let's get right to it. Big Rick MacD is in the building. That could be it. Okay, yeah. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, man. I really don't. Y'all names are showing super crazy, but whatever, guys. Let's get to it. We ain't gonna let YouTube stop us, right? The Discord will be open as well. I'll get to that in a moment. I see some of you guys are already in there. Daron is in there. Zuri Rivers is in there. So I'm going to try to get to the phone calls quicker. Let me dive into my quick points, guys, and then we can be out of here. So expedite. First thing I want to talk about, man, let me get to my topics here. See how I want to do them in order. The most significant or insignificant, I guess you would say, injury report. No major injuries to talk about in terms of the Steelers outside of Miles Killebrew, and I still don't know exactly what happened, guys, because I didn't look. We'll get that Wonder Bread here in a moment. I did not look exactly what Miles Killebrew had. Let me take a look. I know he's injured. I just don't know exactly what the extent of his injury was. Tomlin said it was significant. Miles Killebrew dealing with the knee. Okay, so and I don't remember. I saw it in real time, but I didn't see a replay of the play to know what actually happened. So Mike Tomlin says it's significant. So obviously that's something that we have to pay attention to. He mentioned that it'll probably be a group of guys that will try to replace Miles Killebrew. One on the punt team, one on the kick return team or kick coverage team or what have you. But Tomlin said it would be a multitude of guys. Round of applause, man, to Rodney Royce. Rodney Royce, we appreciate that Wonder Bread, sir. He says, it was great to see that Brown game live. Now back home in Canada. Wow, man, all the way from Canada. Hope you enjoyed yourself, Rodney. I will ask, if you don't mind me asking, was that your first time at the stadium? Was that the first time at the stadium? And if it was, man, I hope you had a good time. And even if it wasn't your first time, explain to those here in the chat that it's never been, I still like to say, to Heinz Field, but now Acrisure. For those of you who have never been to the Steelers Stadium and seen a game live, man, Rodney, if you can explain that to the good people, it's nothing like it, man. It is nothing like it. Nothing like it. Just that atmosphere. So, all right, let's get to the topics, guys. Again, injury report, Miles Killebrew dealing with a significant knee injury. Outside of that, Mike Tomlin said nothing that would result in affecting anybody's participation come Thursday. Guys like Calvin Austin may have an opportunity to return. We'll see. If it was my guess, if he's close to playing, maybe you play him. If not, you probably could squeak by without Calvin Austin for another week, and then you have the mini bye playing a Thursday game, and you would expect him to come back after that. That would be my expectation. Outside of that, he said there wasn't any ramifications or any consequences or side effects from Joey Porter Jr. or Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey was out there being his physical self, man. Adding that presence. And Joey Porter Jr. had a pretty solid game as well, man. So, listen, hopefully those guys can remain healthy going up against the Bengals. Again, I've been waiting for the Steelers to have a secondary and a pairing that can match up with guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Yeah, Jamar Chase is one of the best in the league. We know that, but still, I wanted the Steelers to finally have a tandem or a trio that can at least be formidable against those guys. And it's funny because Tomlin talked about it today. He kind of talked about, or yesterday, whenever the conference was, he talked about how, when you're playing in the division, you basically, you recruit and scout and sign free agents and build your team around what's going on with your divisional opponents. And he kind of talked about, he can imagine teams like the Ravens has as well made some of the decisions they made because of that tandem. Talked about how some of these teams in that division have, beefed up their right tackle position to deal with guys like TJ Watt. And I'm glad to hear them acknowledge that. And finally, you can say, all right, you got Joey Porter Jr., you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Darius Slay, which, in my opinion, I'm going to have a couple things to say about Slay later on. I'm going to save it for my Week 6, post-Week 6 game analysis when Kenyon and I talk. But I got a couple things that I'm interested in saying about Darius Slay in terms of his tenure with the Steelers so far. But outside of that, guys, we'll see who they roll out there on Thursday, but no other significant injuries outside of Miles Killebrew. Next topic, guys. I guess I'll recap the Browns and Steelers really quick. I'll keep it very short. A lot of these games, man, when I rewatch them, I come away with the same feeling. Very similar to what I said on Sunday. You know, I think the Steelers finally won a game, in my opinion, in the trenches. Whether that was the defense applying pressure or the offense protecting the quarterback and legit protecting the quarterback, and also eventually getting the run game going a bit, you know, in the second half, particularly start getting some decent runs going. But I think that's what it was, man. You know, the Steelers found a way, right? I can't pinpoint what the adjustments were because I do not know our exact plan. I haven't studied the tape to know exactly what we did differently, but clearly we definitely did some things differently in the second half to produce points via touchdown versus field goal. And it was impressive to see that. Remember, guys, I said going into the game last Tuesday, I said, hey, you know, the Browns at that point were number 2 against the run as far as yards allowed. They were number 7 against the pass as far as yards allowed. That was a really good defense the Steelers played. And I don't know if any of you guys are really giving them credit. We played a real good defense. You can say what you want to say about the Browns, but the Browns defense has been stout and tough so far this season. Their offense just hasn't produced. But the Browns were even in some close games this year so far. And it showed itself in that game. I mean, the half, it was 9-3, right? Yeah, we were able to move the ball here and there, but they were, you know, getting us off the field at times when they needed to. Bend but don't break. But again, statistically, they have been a very stout defense. And I felt like this was a great test for the Steelers offense. And they passed it. You know, when we put up 23 points, I mean, it's not gaudy numbers, but listen, that'll do when your defense is playing well. That's how I feel about that. So like I said, I don't have a huge recap to give outside of what I said on Sunday. I think my knee-jerk reactions are starting to be a little more spot on in terms of how I feel watching it in real time and how I feel watching it post, right? So those are my thoughts, man. I just think we had a pretty solid day all around, man. It was one of those games where I felt like it was complimentary football, man, offense and defense. Yeah, offense struggled a little bit in terms of touchdowns in the first half, but then we found ways to get it done in the second half, and that defense played lights out. I will still say again, guys, I want to see the Steelers be able to stop more plays in the middle of the field. I still feel like it's too easy against us at times. And I get it. You know, I just left football practice with my son's team, and me and the other coaches were saying, listen, you know, this defense that we're putting out there this week, it has holes in it. Every defense has holes in it. But it's how you limit the holes and how do you execute. You know, teams are going to hit plays against you. It's the NFL. Or at any level, there's going to be a run that's going to pop. There's going to be a pass. But how often can you keep things under wraps? And that's what I would say about our defense. They showed up great on Sunday, but also, again, I'm just keeping my eyes on where we leak. Where the Steelers defense leaks a lot is in the middle of the field. And continuing to give inside leverage. Give the inside as we're playing outside leverage against receivers and tight ends. And I just don't understand that philosophy. But again, it's hard to argue it when you win the game, but I just don't understand that. So I would like to see us shore that up a little bit. Let's move right along, guys, so I can get to the calls. Where we at? 15 minutes? Yeah, we're moving right along. Let's talk about Mike Tomlin's comments about Joe Flacco. First of all, can I share something with you guys, man? Can I be honest about something? Y'all don't mind, right? I'm not a fan of every former NFL player that is now an analyst. I'm not a fan of them. Not all of them. One in particular that has gotten on my nerves for some years now, and I don't speak out on, I'm just not my, it ain't my thing to complain about a media person or whatever, but sometimes you just got to be like, yo, this dude gets on my last nerve. This guy that I'm talking about today would be Chris Canty. I don't have no beef with Chris Canty. I thought Chris Canty was a pretty decent player when he played. But this guy, I don't know, is it because of the stint he had with the Ravens? He's always beyond negative when it comes to Steeler-related things and Mike Tomlin. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just happened to see a clip, right? They show you these clips. I happened to see a clip about apparently his comments about what Tomlin had to say about Flacco and him and Stephen A were on opposite ends. But here's the thing I don't understand. What was so bad about what he said? Like, I don't understand the average person, but also these media personalities. And I do understand sometimes it's, they create banter because that's a part of it. But what did Tomlin say about Joe Flacco that was bad? Matter of fact, I'll ask everybody in the chat, who disagreed with what Mike Tomlin said? Let me grab this donation, and then I'm going to come back and tell you exactly what my thoughts were. Round of applause, man, to James Webb. Appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. He says, James Webb. He says, AKA James Webb, YouTube. SMH, yeah, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. He says, Bengals can be a trap game, especially with Flacco over the middle. Yeah, and I won't call it a trap game, man. I understand what you mean by that, but you know me. You've been watching me for some years now. The term trap game, I don't ever use it because every NFL game is possible. Right now, I think you would probably say trap game because the Bengals are 2-4, right? Also, like I said, I want to say Sunday that the Steelers could very well, I said, in a 5-day period, the Steelers could walk out of this thing 5-1. And that would probably be the reason why some people would say, oh, it's a trap game if they lose. But I'm not going to say that because, listen, it is a divisional opponent. Joe Flacco can still throw the football. Joe Flacco played pretty well against us, obviously, in previous years, even though we kind of got the better of him. But in recent years, he played well when he played for the Colts against us. You still got your wide receiver tandem out there and that other kid, I can't pronounce his name, number 80. They still got a decent running back. They still got Trey Henderson on the other side. So I'm just saying, it's not like 2-4 don't mean nothing to me. It don't. That's a divisional opponent. So, and it's in Cincinnati, and we coming off a short week. Now, both teams coming off a short week, but I'm saying sometimes that matters. And I guarantee you, I hope we're not saying this because I want to win the game. I can almost guarantee you if they lose, people go say, oh, Tomlin didn't have him ready to play. We only say that when we lose. People only say that about coaches from any team when the team lose. Nobody ever says coach had the team ready to play when they win. But yeah, you're absolutely correct, sir. That could be a problem. Could be a problem. All right, so let's get back to the Flacco. Nobody agreed. Yeah. What did he say? What did he say that was so bad? I agree with him 100%. And I love how he called homeboy out. What's the dude named Barry? He was like, he must be smarter than us. He said, I just don't understand trading a guy that you saw fit to be your starter to a divisional opponent. Because let's keep it a buck. All 4 teams in the AFC North are rivals. So you could say not only a divisional opponent, a division rival, and they are reeling. I mean, they are dying at the quarterback position, and you give them a lifeline. Now, some people might say, oh, it's Joe Flacco, but still, again, Tomlin's point was, how do you in the same division give a team a player that you deemed as your starter to start the season, and you say, here you go, take him? I fully agree with that, but for whatever reason, you know, he gets criticized by guys like Chris Canty. Man, go somewhere and kick rocks, man. That's all I got to say about that. But I had to say it, guys. I just had to say it because when I saw that little clip, I was like, how do you got a problem with that? You play football. How would you feel if your quarterback or your organization did that to your divisional opponent? It's dumb. I'm sorry. It's dumb. Whatever. Yeah. But you are correct. You are correct. Let's not give him no attention. All right, moving on, guys. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can so I can get to these calls. 2 more topics really quick. Can I ask y'all another question? Still a nation. Why is it that we as a fan base, and sometimes media pundits, why do we force production? I'm going to ask that question again, then I'm going to explain to y'all what I mean, because some of y'all might be like, what are you talking about? Why do we try to force production? Here's what I'm talking about. All I keep hearing about now is what's going on with Fryermuth. You got to feed him the ball. You got to this. You got to that. You got to. Here's the question I have. Yes, I understand Fryermuth got paid as a tight end. But I'm going to say what I always say. Coming right to you, CT. Give me a quick second. I don't want to forget this point. I'm going to say what I always say. It's market value. He got paid what the Steelers deemed that he was worth. But the fact that Steeler Nation keeps saying, you got to get him involved. You got to. I understand that, but what are we are being productive right now without forcing him the ball. Because if Pat Fryermuth was getting all the touches, right? All of them. You know what y'all would say? Man, see, we ain't need DK. Man, see, what would the put? That's what y'all would say. Man, see, down there Washington, they ain't doing nothing. It's like, you try to force it because Pat Fryermuth hasn't necessarily been heavily involved. Now people are trying to pick apart his value and his worth. No. How about Aaron Rodgers might just be throwing the ball to the open guy? Have we ever thought about that? We've been crying and screaming, kicking and screaming to get Darnell Washington involved. We start getting him involved. We start getting dudes like Jonnu Smith involved, who is a different style tight end. But now we got a problem because but my question is, if we are forcing getting Pat Fryermuth in the ball, are you guys saying that our production as a team would be that much higher if it was him catching it versus Jonnu Smith or versus Darnell Washington? I'm just talking about what we've seen in 6 games. I don't think it matters, guys. I think if he was getting all of the tight end catches, then the other guys ain't producing. Only one guy can catch the ball at a time. I just think it's the matter of how the offense is flowing. That's it. I thought what Mike Tomlin said today was key. If you pay attention, I told you he will drop breadcrumbs. He's never going to tell you straight up, but if you have a third eye and if you listen well, he described all 4 of our tight ends and where they are strong at. He said Pat Fryermuth is a zone beater. Is it possible that the Steelers offense, they are designing certain things? and using certain personnel based off of what they see. He also said that. He talked about the inclusion of Darnell Washington and why. He says, hey, the matchups dictate that. Hey, a lot of times we employ this or we do that when we're facing a 4-3 team. This is what I'm saying. You might see him on the field more against 4-3 opponents because Tomlin likes the matchup that he possesses or he can handle against a big 4-3 defensive end. So all I'm saying is sometimes, guys, we are doing too much highlight watching. Because you haven't heard his name so much now, all of a sudden, he ain't worth it. Get him involved. But why are we trying to force it if we are producing without having to force it to one guy? I like the way the ball is being spread around. If you ask me, that's all I'm saying. But we as fans, we want to force everything. I don't understand. And it was a dude, a beat writer that asked the like. It's crazy, man. But again, this is where I get it off, y'all. Most of the time, I don't care, I don't pay attention. But on the show, this is where I get it off. All of my thoughts and feelings about some of the crazy stuff I see out there. Let the game unfold the way it's unfolding. And Fryermuth ain't even complaining about it. Come on, man. All right, my last one before I open up the calls. Hey, I think that at Dub SKW, I think that's Kenyan. See, why is his name showing like that? What is YouTube doing? This is crazy. But anyway, here's the last one. Y'all ready for this? Y'all see my title. I see something I like about the Steelers offense. Man. Guys, I have watched almost a full game of all 22. Not intently at position, just watching the play-by-play. It's stuff going on that we don't even realize, bruh. It's stuff going on that we don't even know. Let me explain to y'all. I didn't even catch this in real time. Play number 2 of the game. I just made a note of it so I wouldn't forget. Second play of the game, we run 13 personnel. We motion DK Metcalf into the backfield, and he lined up as a fullback. I'm going to say it again. Play number 2 of the game. 13 personnel. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's 3 tight ends. Motion DK Metcalf into the backfield where he lined up as a fullback. What could we do out of that? What type of matchup nightmares could we create out of that look? Getting DK Metcalf out the backfield. What? Like in the flat or run an arrow route when you got big old Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith with his athletic self, and Connor Haywood that could be like a Swiss Army knife, and Jalen Dog. Does that not sound crazy? I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, whoa. What? Whoa. What was that? I rewind the play like 6 times like, yo, what? I didn't catch that in real time. The type of play actions that we're running. The first play of the game. You line up in that super jumbo set, and we sneak Darnell Washington right out the middle, right up the middle of the field. He rolls right up the middle of the formation and goes out to the right, and Aaron Rodgers, boom. Pay attention to some of the fakes that even Aaron Rodgers is carrying out. Bruh, we ran some play actions where we sent a guy in motion left, sent another guy back in motion right, and at the start of the play, it was like a crisscross, and Aaron Rodgers fakes the pitch, rolls out to the right. That one play, y'all remember the play where he bootleg out and he tried to hit Donnell Washington and it went a little bit off his fingertips? Boy, DK was wide open in the middle of the field too. Arthur Smith is scheming it up. I'm telling y'all, go watch the film. He is scheming up plays to get guys open. I got to pay more attention to the receivers, though, talking about the guys that are not DK, because I want to see what's going on there. Guess what else I saw? For everybody who's complaining about who's playing and who's not, I sent this to Kenyon yesterday. I saw plays where it was Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek, and Roman Wilson out of 11 personnel. Let me say them names again. Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek, and Roman Wilson out of 11. My point in saying all of that is Arthur Smith is digging into his bag. He's utilizing personnel. We running 13, we running 12, we running different combinations at 11. So why are we trying to jump out the window and say, oh, this guy, Roman ain't getting no time, and this guy ain't, and why they got Scotty Miller? It's for a reason. I saw plays where we were in 12, and Roman Wilson was on the outside, particularly two block, and did pretty good. So all I'm saying is while we trying to call it as fans, allow it to play out, dog. Allow it to play out. Because we think we don't see so-and-so on the field at a certain point, I can honestly say from what I saw in that game that I actually believe what Tomlin said. I believe they actually are scheming based off of who they're playing, and that dictates what personnel you see. I'm just saying. And I like it, bro. I like it. I like what I see so far out of this offense. And let me give a round of applause to the O-line. It's a guy named Broderick Jones that we try to clown and beat up. Hey, man. Broderick Jones ain't do half bad on Sunday, bro. Myles Garrett was non-existent. Sometimes we had help, sometimes he didn't. Hey, and guess what else? Aaron Rodgers won't just getting rid of the ball super quick on every play neither. It was plays that see pocket form, Aaron Rodgers back there chilling. Okay. Let me find out this offensive line starting to come around. Got another test here Thursday against Hendrickson, but we'll see. Let me grab these Wonder Breads, then I'm going to get to the phone call. I got to go back to CT Pittman, my brother. Appreciate you, sir. Round of applause. Okay. CT Pittman said the difference this time is we don't have mid cornerbacks going against Flacco. Ramsey and Slay are the real deal. And JPJ coming into his own. Valid point. I got to keep my eyes on Darius Slay. I got an opinion that I don't know if it's a right opinion yet. I got to do my homework before I say it. That's why I said I'm not going to say it yet. I will say what I want to say on the steel table with Kenyon and I after this week's game. So that will be on Tuesday. And maybe my opinion will be the same, maybe it won't. I got to go do some homework. And then I'll let y'all know. James Webb, appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. He says the pro set really doesn't exist anymore in the NFL, but it could be an option for us with Metcalf or another tight end since we are digging in the crates. He said for hip hopping fans. Yeah. Y'all don't know nothing about no digging in the crates. Y'all don't know anything about that. Y'all know what's funny? Speaking of digging in the crates, this is an absolute fact. My boss, her cousin is Lord Finesse. Lord Finesse. One day we in there just talking about music and all this stuff, and she's like, yeah, you know, my cousin does music and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, really? You know who? She said, Lord Finesse. I said, Lord Finesse? She was like, yeah. I said, the Lord Finesse? I said, do you know how hip-hop your cousin is? I know he does. I said, no. You don't understand. You don't understand. James Webb will understand because he's referencing digging in the crates. So I ain't got to go further than that. Let's get to it, guys. I know we got some people in the chat. In the queue. We got three. We got Mr. Winningham, we got Daron, and we got Zuri Rivers. Let me grab the link as well. I'm going to post it in the chat for anybody who wants to hop on. Unfortunately, guys, I'm always going to say unfortunately because this is not my preferred method. But unfortunately, if you do want to speak, you're going to have to use Discord. It does require that you have an account. Like I said, that's not my preference, but that's about all we have right now. So let me post it. Because other things that I can't do, I can't see the order and all of that and who came first and who didn't. I know that Zuri and Daron were in there first and then Mr. Winningham came after them. So I'll say I'm going to just go to Zuri Rivers first because I know he's relatively shorter in terms of his time. Then I'll grab Daron, and then we'll definitely grab Mr. Winningham. So let me get Zuri. Hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. What's going on, brother? What you got for us?
Can you hear me on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What to do? First of all, got to show love to both teams. Sorry about the echo. I'm at work. I had to sneak off. But show love to both teams. Oh, yeah, and shout out to your little man, too. Got to show love to him. Out there balling, putting his lifeline on the line, too. So that's what's up. But, it's just like, I see the improvements, but I just felt like that game, we could have, the score should have been, it should have been like 45-9, honestly. We had all them drop interceptions and Aaron Rodgers, he doing his thing, but it was a couple throws he could have made. I know one to DK, he underthrew. But yeah, we're improving, but I'm never satisfied. It's more that we can do better. But once again, shouts out to the little man too, man. That's what's up. And you too, for being a good coach. I have a great night.
Appreciate that, man. And what he's referring to, guys, I mean, most of y'all know, but my son, they little league team. He's 12, so it's like a 6th grade team. Because where we live, middle school doesn't start until 7th. But we clinched the playoffs. We clinched the playoffs on Saturday, so regardless of what happens in these next 2 weeks, it don't matter. But they're playing well. This is his first year playing, and he had a good game on Saturday. Sacked the quarterback when we needed it. Like, we were down 6-0, and we told him, "Hey, go get us the ball back." He gets the sack. I mean, it was a beautiful moment as a coach and a dad, right? Because it's like I'm trying to be cool, but then when he come off the sideline, I'm dapping him, hugging him, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But it's cool. But that was the thing, man. Their team was trash, they said last year, and they've done a complete 180 this year. So it's been a fun experience. But yeah, I do agree with Zuri on this point. That underthrow by Aaron Rodgers, I was a little pissed off by that because, I mean, it's Aaron. Aaron has made some phenomenal throws this season. Made a couple good throws in that game too. But I was like, oh, that one was right there. And he kind of underthrew it. But hey, it happens. And again, he's not the same Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Age catches up to you and all that. But maybe he just missed that one. I wouldn't go as far as to say 45-9 because I do respect Cleveland's defense. But yeah, we were dominating. It could have very easily have been, let's be modest, you could easily have another touchdown on the board. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple drops. So, yeah, you could easily say that could have been 30-9. But yeah, we got to give love. Like you said, shout outs to both teams. The Browns have a really solid defense, man. So to do what we did against that defense, even with some of the misses, was impressive to me. Because again, this is a team that none of us knew what it was going to be with a 41-year-old quarterback. And we're starting to come into our own a little bit. It's good to see. So hopefully this is an upward trend that will continue to go. Daron, man, you are live. What you got for us?
I'm going to tell you to go get the OG first. Always got to let Mr. Winningham go before me. I always got to give respect to the OGs. You know that.
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it. So we're going to go ahead and grab Mr. Winningham. 1 second. Get him on. Mr. Winningham, how you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, how you doing? Daron, thank you so much. I appreciate your shout out. I enjoyed the physicality that we displayed on both sides of the football Sunday. Of course, we are helping Broderick. Broderick Jones is coming around. And by the end of this year, hopefully we won't have to be in so much 13 personnel where we're able to put some of our wide receivers on the field and open up the offense a little bit. But for right now, let's give praise to Donnell Washington, Broderick Jones, and Spencer Anderson.
Yeah.
Doing a tremendous job of doling out the physicality that we look for out of those guys. And defensively, yeah, we did some good things Sunday. I was hoping that we would have capitalized on some turnovers, but the one thing that really aggravated me, Sam, was the referees kind of kept Cleveland in the game a little bit, especially as TJ Watt's looking at the referee, getting his thing of whether he's on sides and everything. And then when we do get a turnover or something, or try to get off the field, then you're calling an offsides because you're saying TJ Watt was offsides, but yet he's looking at you to see whether he's on sides before the play is run. So I was a little bit. Those referees kind of kept Cleveland in the game. The game, Cleveland is the best defense we probably going to play all year long. But other than that, we will, if we win this game like I'm thinking we will win Thursday, then with 11 days off, we will really be putting ourselves in a good position of hopefully maybe getting Calvin Austin out or making a minor pickup of another wide receiver to put on the field. Right now, we do need somebody opposite of DK. Unless I was wondering whether you would think we should put Jonnu Smith at that wide receiver so we could put Calvin Austin in the slot. Thank you so much. I hope everybody have a great week ahead. Good night.
Man, Mr. Winningham, we always appreciate you. But before I even respond, guys, I just want to show you guys, because I know a lot of times I get younger people who watch the show, and even people that ain't young. It's general respect, right? You guys know I've been calling Mr. Winningham since he was calling into Blog Talk. His full name is right there, but I won't raise that way, I don't know exactly how old Mr. Winningham is. I know he's older than me, so automatically my respect level is always that. And Daron right there follows suit. Hey, man, I want him to go first, even though I might have been here. So that's something that I think that we as a people, especially young men, we're getting away from that, right? Simple respect and how you treat people and how you treat each other goes a long way. And that's why I call him Mr. Winningham, because he's my senior, and I definitely respect him all the time. I love what he has to say. He comes in here and drops wisdom on us. So I just want to say that as an aside, man, because again, as a father, I'm just starting to see the ways just ain't what it used to be. And I teach mine that. All right. So I just wanted to say that. But yeah, man, Mr. Winningham, I agree with him 100% with the refs. I don't know what's the craziest thing is, like you said, and you even summed it up perfect. TJ is checking with them. TJ does this all the time. He has even said that he has mastered learning snap counts to when he'll go, and sometimes people will swear he's offsides, but he will get that cadence. But outside of that, if you checking with a guy, they won't throw in the flag because they thought he jumped early. You know what I'm saying? One or two of them, I think at least the first one was they basically said he lined up offsides. How if he's checking with you? It just don't make no sense to me, man. It really don't. But yes, also, Mr. Winningham, I'm glad you did say Spencer Anderson. We got to give that kid some credit, man. Number 74, you know, reporting eligible. We've seen that so many years, whether it was a Chris Hubbard who wore that same number, or what's my man's name, number 72. I can't remember his name. That kid, he kind of stayed hurt with us, but he used to always, the big boy. I can't remember his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Over the last, I'll say he was with us about 3-4 years ago. He was always number 72, reporting eligible. But Anderson is coming in there and doing his job. And you absolutely have to salute Donnell Washington, who is essentially almost, I mean, he's pretty much the size of a left tackle, a big left tackle at that. But yeah, there you go. Appreciate that. Zach Banner, appreciate that for giving me the name. Yeah, man. So we've been seeing the Steelers try to do this quite often, and Anderson is making a name for itself. So thank you, Mr. Winningham, for reminding me of that. And thanks for the call, like always. All right, Daron, let's get Daron up in here, man. Back with us again. What you got for us, brother?
One. We can
Hold on real quick, Daron. I can't hear you clear. It sounds a little muffled.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, a little bit better now.
We can have 6 interceptions. That's only rather than those things were just for desperation. Also, we got to the point where we were watching that post interview for the Browns and everything else. Miles Garrett even says, like, we can't do what we do. We can't be throwing the ball 56 times. Well, my ball, 58 times. Was it? Threw it 52 and got sacked 6. Congratulations for the quarterback and keep up the work. That trick play that you've seen, one where I was out with the family when I was watching it. I thought they were going to hand it straight off to him. I've seen how that could develop into a dangerous situation. So we do need some more receivers. Our receivers are doing okay, but too many drop balls, too many bad routes. You can tell the route how the routes were supposed to be compared to what they ran. The one pass that went to might have been Woods that got overthrown. I've seen that route in a previous game. He was supposed to go deeper on that, but he cut it up short. But other than that, we've been doing the game a little bit more involved, just so we don't have as much pressure on Rodgers to make them our play action to come and be dangerous. Because that's when Rodgers is at his best, is when you are really biting on that play action. But other than that, thanks for taking my call. I know with some other things that I had that you touched on about Tomlin and his press conference, and all that, but we looking all right. I'm seeing by the time we get to our first game with Baltimore, which I believe is in 4 weeks, we can be sitting at only, I say, 3 losses. I give us 3 losses. We can possibly go 2-2 by the time we get to Baltimore.
Yeah, man, we'll see how that pans out. And thanks for the call as well. I was asking the chat. It was muffled, but I started to hear you pretty good. And what I will do is I will reply to what you said about the receiver, because also Mr. Winningham said the same thing. I have to pay more attention to them on the film. I just be honest with you guys. It's a lot of work, man. Like, it takes a lot of time, because what I watch now, I just watched each play, right? And I watched the success rate and all of that. But then you got to go back and specifically hone in on certain players, or you want to watch only offensive line. You want to watch only the runs. But now I really need to focus on what's happening in these routes. Are the routes being ran crisp? Are guys winning in man situations? Are guys sitting and down in the zone when it's a zone? Is the pass protection holding up? And I got to go do that. But like I said, I'll be honest with you guys, man. It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. And I apologize for not being able to always come and break it down on Tuesday, because, I don't do this full time. It's speaking of that, my people, my members, I will absolutely get all 22 footage out for you guys this week. I want to try to do the member-only stream again. The last time I did it, it went public. So I might try to do that again, but I'm putting it out there now. That information, that footage will be out tomorrow and no later than Thursday. But I'm going to shoot for tomorrow, because obviously Thursday night, we got a game. But I definitely want to break some more film down, because I'm seeing some really good things. But speaking of the receiver, I think the point what I will agree with you and Mr. Winningham, nobody is separating themselves as the number 2 guy. I think Calvin Austin was on his way. He was on his way. And then he got injured. And I think a lot of us were starting to say, okay, Calvin is separating himself a little bit. So I want to see that trend continue to trend. It would be great if it could be a Roman Wilson. Hey, it could be great if it was Scotty Miller. I don't care who it is, but it needs to be a guy that the teams really have to focus on. And I think Calvin Austin was starting to become that before his injury, but we shall see. We shall see. So I will agree with that fact. Do we necessarily need one? And can we still be successful? I think so. But if we get somebody who emerges as that, or if we acquired somebody who is absolutely that, that takes us to another level. I mean, if you could get a tandem like Chase and Higgins, or even like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, some 2 guys that you really got to be concerned with. A lot of teams in the NFL have that. And we really don't necessarily have it yet, but we'll see. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to wrap it. I'll spend just a few minutes here in the chat, see what y'all got, man. Anything y'all want to say, fire away. And I'm going to just try to read some of the comments. Again, the names are all jacked up. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Let's see. Debbie says, can you add the 13 formation you were speaking about with DK in the backfield? Yes, that is the second play. And see, Debbie, and anybody else who's a channel member, and anybody else who might become a channel member, that's why I want to do the stream. I want to get to a point where I'm doing a dedicated stream for channel members, exclusive for you guys, and therefore we can go through the footage together, and y'all can even say, hey, show this play. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me picking plays, I want it to be interactive. So that's why I'm going to try to shoot for another stream. In order for me to do that, though, I feel like I got to try to give you guys a time, so if I do the stream, it will be tomorrow evening, after I get from practice, which my son's practice ends at 8 o'clock. So it'll be, after the 8 p.m. Eastern time hour. But if I end up just doing a regular pre-recorded video, I'll get that done during the day and just post it. But just be on the lookout. But I would love for it to be more interactive and we can kind of break things down together. Relfax says, Rodgers is such a savant. We don't require a number 2, to be honest. Yeah. If DK isn't there, he uses the tight ends very well. Absolutely. That's why I was saying, Rel, do we need it? No. No. We don't need it. But if we had it, it would be outstanding. Steeler Card says, I think the Steelers will acquire a wide receiver by the deadline. We'll see. Dr. Trey 88 says, I'd rather us get that wide receiver notification. Yep. Somebody said, did I hear Austin? Yeah, man. I mean, again, Calvin Austin was coming on. He was coming on. One thing that I forgot to mention, I saw Mark said it earlier. I definitely want to give, what's the kid's name? Is it K'Wan Williams? Definitely want to give him a shout out. Looked good on that punt return, man. I think it got negated by a penalty. But yeah, that boy almost took that thing to the house. So listen, it's been a long time since we've had a punt returner that officially gets yards a lot. And now we could potentially have 2 capable of doing it. I love it. I love it. Got to shout that kid out, man, stepping in there and doing what he has to do. Jay Webb says, Harmon and Black are making differences too, stuffing the run better since Harmon's return. Harmon's return has been felt. Absolutely no ifs, ands, buts about it. We are seeing the effects of Derek Harmon being in the lineup. That is a fact. Oh, Afro Thunder says, I think he meant Steve Austin. Okay, my bad. What happened, Rajon? He said, dang, he's really old. He says, okay, let's move forward. What happened? He missed something? You ain't really old, brother. I don't know how old you are, but you're never really old or too old. You're only as old as you feel. Afro Thunder says, don't feel bad about being old. We are like wine, getting better with time. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's what I always say, man. My parents used to always tell me, when you start getting older and, you're getting little grays and stuff here and there, Sometimes I touch them up. Sometimes I let them rock, My mom and dad, and, God rest my mom's soul, they used to always be like, look, you worrying about getting older. It ain't but one way not to get older. And once they put it in that perspective, I was like, oh, all right. When you young, when you 15 and somebody tell you, hey, one day you're going to be 30. One day you're going to be 40. One day you're going to be 50. One day you're going to be 60. And you start being like, God, I'm 30. Hey, it ain't but one way to not get older. I'll take getting older for 1,000, Alex. Thank you. Daily double. What y'all got, man? Mark says somebody scooped somebody else off at practice squad. Yeah, I saw that. He said we are Aaron Rodgers old. Well, that ain't old at all, man. The 40s. That's where it's at. Kenya says, man, I'm like old caramel. You can't warm it up in the microwave. Yeah, Kenya, don't even go telling that lie, brother. Don't even go telling that lie. Shoot. The Kenyan I know, oh, that's for another show, man. Boy, it would have been something in the road with Kenyon back in the day. That's all I'm going to say. Had I known Kenyon about, like back in the day, and Kenyon, I was rolling with Kenyon as my big bruh, That might have been something special, man. Still a car says we could have used Castro now that Killer Brew is out. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. But you know what? I think guys like Jabril Peppers, and Jabril may have already been playing special teams for us. I'm not 100% sure, but I think guys like Peppers, will help fill that void a little bit. The ladies like the salt and pepper. Yo, man, y'all, I love it. I love it. I've been really contemplating, man. I really want to do another show, like where it's just real talk. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do it. Like, this Steelers thing is cool, but I've been really contemplating, man. I want to get back into talking about regular stuff. Like I used to do the Wednesday Word of Wisdom. I might get back into that, man, where I'm just talking about regular day, everyday, average life stuff, news stuff, music stuff, entertainment stuff, and stuff like that. Oh, man, hold on. Before I go, hold on. Speaking of which, stop the music. Guys, I got to give a moment of silence to my man, D'Angelo, man. Wow. 51 years of age, man. For those of you guys that don't know, D'Angelo, man, passed away. They said he was dealing with pancreatic cancer. That's hometown right there. Richmond, Virginia, man. Born and raised. That one hurt. I've had the opportunity to be around D'Angelo a few times, man. Just, when I was kind of in the mix doing some music stuff and just being from Richmond and kind of bumping into him and, people know him and, things like that. No, didn't get to do any music with him, but again, just kind of being in the same vicinity, and chopping it up. And same with guys like Mad Skills. Some of y'all guys might know who Mad Skills is. Like, yeah, that hurt, man. That hurt. So real quick, guys, I'm gonna just do a quick moment of silence for my man D'Angelo. May he rest in peace. All right. Shout outs to D'Angelo, man. Wow, that was unexpected news. And what's the guy's name, man? Oh, I gotta give him some love too, man. I don't think many of y'all knew this. Kenya sent this to me earlier. Hold on, guys. So it was on Steelers Depot. They said Steelers minority owner Doug, what's his name? Doug, is it Lebda? He was killed in an ATV accident. 55 years of age. And for those of you that don't know, he was the Lending Tree CEO. 55 years old. And he died in an ATV accident, man. So prayers to him, his family, his soul, those who love him. Same with D'Angelo, man. Prayers to their families. And I always pray for people's souls as well. Just prayers to their families, man, as they have to go through this grieving time, man. So unfortunate news. And also, man, prayers up to D'Angelo's son. I know him and Angie Stone had a son together. They both now have passed in the same year. I think she passed like in March. Yikes, man. Yeah, prayers up to the kid, man. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Mark Cunningham says favorite D'Angelo song. That's hard. Let me say something to y'all really quick. Then I'm going to get out of here for real. Those things are always tricky to me because I'm one of those guys, and I think it's just the artistic me, right? A lot of my favorite songs from artists are album cuts. Even though they might have a hit, that's a big time hit, Give you a perfect example. One of my wife's favorite Beyonce songs is Love on Top. She loves that record. I think it's a dope record too, right? especially how I know it was kind of influenced by the whole New Edition vibe, and she showcased that in the video. And a lot of people don't know this. That was a original composition. It was not a sample, or they basically played new music and they mimicked that sound, right? Great song. It happened to be on the radio and it happened to chart. But I have other songs from an artistic standpoint from her that are my favorite. And it's always that way, especially with R&B artists. It's always that way for me. Even with hip hop, some of my favorite songs are those album cuts that a lot of people don't know. So that's a tough one. Like Brown Sugar, it's all right, but that absolutely is not my favorite D'Angelo record. It's a lot of different records that I could say, man, and I can't even say one because it's many of them that are them joints for me. But yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely me and Kenya, man, we got to do a freelance, even if it's just a show here and there. We got to do something, man, just to have some music talk, man. And I think you guys will enjoy that. So I got a lot of ideas coming, guys. It's just honestly trying to find the time is really the problem. But all right, man, let me get out of here, guys. I love the Steeler family. For those of you guys who stuck around and listened to that extra news there, appreciate that. Y'all know the routine, man. Listen, right here. This is what I need y'all to do. Bam. If you like what you saw here on the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. Also, the PSA. Y'all make sure y'all stay safe out there. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. And I will see you in the next time. The next time that you'll see me live on stream should be Thursday night, since we have a game in a couple days. And be on the lookout for that content, guys. Channel members only. To see that all 22, you must join the channel. So like I said, I haven't quite decided yet. I really want to try to do a live stream. But if not, it will be a pre-recorded production. Outside of that, man, y'all be easy. And I will see y'all soon. Peace.